Hello and welcome to Creatives Like Us, a podcast where we open up conversations about what it really means to build a creative career when you're Black or brown. I'm your host, brand and marketing graphic designer, Angela Lyons. In my guest episodes, I sit down with creatives who are out there doing the work, navigating the industries, and proving that there's space for all of us. Because the more we share, the more we see our stories out there, and the more we see ourselves reflected, and the more we realise we're not alone in this. Okay then, are you ready? Let's dive into today's episode. Hello and welcome to Creatives Like Us. And today I'm joined with the awesome illustrator, Kazvare, and I'm just so pleased to be speaking to her because I've been following her for a while now and it's just so awesome that she said yes. So I really hope you enjoy this episode. And Kazvare, over to you now. So tell us who you are and what type of creative you are.
Hello, thank you so much for having me today. My name is Kazvare. I am a writer, an illustrator, artist. I've got a brand called Kazvare Made It, which actually primarily started with, it was retail based. So I still create greetings cards, stationery, homeware. But it's kind of over the years morphed into kind of more social commentary, fun on socials. And I also wrote a book in 2021 called Stay Woke Kids, which is essentially a children's book for adults. And it tackles topics like toxic masculinity, racism, white privilege. But yeah, using rhyme and illustration to talk about these things.
Thank you so much. And whereabouts are you based in the world? Because we have listeners, apparently I have listeners all over the place and I've checked my stats and it's all over the world. So it'd be great to tell people where you are.
Oh, wonderful. I'm based in London and have lived in London for most of my life. So yeah.
Brilliant. So I was going to ask, how did you become a creative? I mean, you can go back to part of childhood days or part of where you are with a professional journey. So how did you become a professional, I suppose, illustrator, or how did you get started, or what made you get started? Because as you said, you've done so many things. You're a writer, you're an illustrator, you've written a book, you've had exhibitions. Again, I'd love to talk about that. So how did you actually get started with all of it? And what made you start?
I feel like my creative journey started when I was a kid. So I used to love drawing. Yeah, I used to love drawing. And one of my uncles always tells me that I sent him a picture of like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I sent him a picture and he was like, wow, this is amazing. So anytime I see him, even at my big age, that's what he will quote as like the starting point for him. And I think, also for me, I've always loved drawing. I've always loved art. Art was my favorite subject at school. And I did it up until A-level. And it was kind of there where I semi-parted ways. I decided to, I was basically either going to go off to art school or study classics, which is like the study of the ancient Greek and Roman world. And at that time, I decided that I would just go with the classics because I could always return to art. But I thought there's never going to be a day that I'm going to pick up a Latin book and start that up again. So I just thought, actually, So that's why I decided to do things that way. But actually, in my time at uni, I was always still, I still kind of dabbled in, creativity in some way, shape or form. I was always like designing flyers for various events and societies I was part of. And then actually, Kazvare Made It as a statement, I guess, started at uni. I was meant to be studying and revising for whatever exam I was meant to be taking. And instead, I started like illustrating. I did like a little illustration of myself. And then I think I signed it Kazvare Made It. And then like other friends came up to me and like, oh my goodness, I love it. Can I have one? And then that's kind of where the name started. And then...
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, kind of continued on from there.
That's brilliant. I take it that's not your name? Or is it your name?
Oh, no, Kazvare is my name, but Kazvare Made It as a statement.
A statement. Right. Because as I said, I was just before we came on the call, I was saying that I was trying to do some research about you because I was always researching my guests and I couldn't find anything like about you section on your website, and I was trying to find that, and I was like, oh, this is kind of quite cool and quite elusive, but like we always love your illustrations, so it's nice to hear you explain it now. And but why do you not if you don't mind me asking, how come you don't show your face behind your illustrations? Is it something that you want to stay elusive to it, or is it something just the brand, the images are stronger?
I often ask myself this question, or at least I return back to the question. And I think at this stage, especially because obviously I don't have millions of followers, but I've got a few. And I just feel like I love having people respond to my art and engage with it and all of that good stuff. But I like to keep myself and my own self. I don't know. I like the privacy of it all. Like, I basically want to be able to go to Lidl or Aldi in my pajamas and not be questioned. Like, do you know what I mean? I like having a private life.
Yeah.
But I love having my art out there. But yeah, I love privacy as well. But I'm always asking myself, okay, you love your privacy, but also are you hiding yourself? So I kind of I grapple with that question a lot, but I think actually I do just like living a simple life outside of everything else. So
sure. So I was going to say, one of the reasons I'm glad you come on this podcast so people can hear about you again, because I was, again, I don't know if this is, I don't know if it was publicised, but I tried to find a podcast of you and Karen Arthur and I just could not find it. I knew you did one because that was when I saw it in your newsletter and that's when I asked you to come on mine. And I was like, where is this podcast? I seriously couldn't find it. And I was just like, I don't know if it got taken down or wasn't put up yet. So it's good that you're here. And now we can share it with people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Going back to your art, when you said you started that style around uni, was that a style that you started straight away, the style you've got now? Or is it something you've developed over the years?
It's something that I've developed over the years. I think, the black outline and the bright colours has probably been a through line. But it's taken various iterations of being to kind of get to where I am now. I think, it's definitely taken time. And also, I don't even feel like where I am now is the final iteration either. It's just kind of where I am right now. So I feel like that's kind of that's an ever changing thing. But I think, the style that I have right now has been present for a little while now, but yeah.
And I was going to ask around the illustrations, do you actually, I know it's like social commentary, but what platforms do you use to get your sources from and what inspires you?
Where do I get my sources? So probably I'm still on Twitter. I'm a lurker now on there. Yes.
Yeah.
Because obviously it is a cesspit. I'm not gonna try and defend the platform. But sometimes there are just some tweets that are so funny that I'm like, I can't delete this app. So that's kind of why I say on there mainly.
Has it got you hooked? You're like,
has it got me hooked? Probably it has, but I also acknowledge that it's not, it's not necessarily a good thing that I'm still on there. But I like to kind of lurk on there. Just like social. Like I like to listen. So whether that's, I might look on like news platforms or just like media platforms just to see kind of what's going on. I like to listen to what's happening. That's probably how I find my news.
Your sources, brilliant. Thank you. I always wonder because every time I ever see the illustrations pop up, I'm like, where did she get this from? Like the last one, I didn't even know about that. I think the last one I saw was about For Real, and I was like, I didn't know that, so I had to quickly look on the news and see what that was about. So you inspire me to go look at news and look up things. So it's good that you're sharing it, and because sometimes we just miss things, or the mainstream news doesn't even tell us these things.
Absolutely, it's definitely been unintentional that I've become a news source for some people. Like that was never my intention, but I think that's probably where we are at this stage.
Well, apart from being a news source, how has it impacted your work life? Because obviously we've all got to make money and we've all got to pay bills. And how is your artwork? So post on Instagram, does that bring in new deals from different people or different like brands, or do people want, because I saw the one about the New Yorker, which I was also gutted about, and I was like, well, actually not in the New Yorker, but anyway, but I was just like, it's like, is there anything that you, where your artwork gets other people into your world, where they use you to work with brands?
I think sometimes, yes. I feel like anything that I'm, on socials particularly, it's probably most useful for visibility, but not necessarily transferring into actual hard cash from doing that. So definitely my online shops, I've got stockists, stocked in like Oliver Bonas, Selfridges, and like smaller boutiques as well. So that's where I make my cash, and everything else is kind of just for the love of it, and also just like it's actually self-expression and me getting things off my chest that that's how I kind of approach socials.
I love it because I always think, oh my gosh, you must be like working with so many massive brands and like people coming to you, but you actually use it as a portfolio piece too, I suppose. Is that right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously I'm open to working with lots of big brands. And I have worked with some big brands in the past. And yeah, over this year as well. But it's just it's a place for my thoughts.
Oh, I love it. I think it's brilliant. I love it. And loads of people love it anyway. So people are always sharing and retweeting it. Well, not retweeting, resharing, should I say. So yeah, no, it's really cool. I wanted to ask, because some of the posts are controversial, or they might hit the wrong nerve with some people, and some people might start, posting negative comments on there and things like that. How do you deal with that?
Ooh. And that has definitely ramped up, I feel like, over the past year, I would say. And probably more so on a platform like TikTok. And for me, that's probably where I get my most negative feedback, should we say. But even now on Instagram, actually, there's been a lot more comments that are, I don't like it when people put meaning onto what I have not said. But obviously you're not in control of that. And I think often people, when they comment, they're actually projecting and talking from their own experiences and places where they, operate from, I guess. So I try not to take things personally, because I feel like, the way that people see things or say things is very much to do with them and not necessarily what is going on with you. Also, I like to think about who is saying the negative things. I think that is very key for me. If you are a white supremacist saying negative things, I don't mind, because good. Like if my post has affected you, then good. You're not my target audience at all. But if you've been hit, then so be it. So I think it's important to see who is doing the disliking and what it is they're, I guess, railing against, really. So I try not to take it personally. I try to remember that people are kind of commenting from wherever they are, the space that they're in, and also I take a look at who's actually doing the commenting and what they're bringing to the table. And if it's tomfoolery, then
So I was going to ask also about creativity. Is there anyone who inspires you? Who's your favourite creative out there at the moment? I know there must be quite a few throughout the years, but at the moment, who's your... Or it could be a past one too, or both, yeah.
At the moment, so I went to see, I don't know if you've seen it, Kerry James Marshall's exhibition, The Histories.
Not yet.
The RA.
Yeah, not yet, yeah.
Over the weekend, I went to see it again. So it's my second time, and I'm
planning
on going a third time. Yeah, I'm planning on going a third time. God willing, soon. I was just inspired by the whole thing. I just think, his body of work and just the way he does it. So all of the kind of, art history and Western traditions, he doesn't ignore them and just pretend that they don't exist, but he uses them to speak about the Black experience and speak about things that are of his kind of reference point. And he does it beautifully. And I love that. And,
Mm-hmm.
you know, just to see Black figures in everyday life, not necessarily attached to kind of trauma and, you know, the rest of it, although those things do have their place. Yeah, I just love it. I love his work. It's actually inspired me to start painting again, really, because yeah, over the past years, that's something that I've really wanted to get back into, but I still haven't done it. I went to one art class recently, and I did do a painting, but yeah, in terms of really getting back into it, I'm not quite there yet. But yeah, I was really inspired by his work.
No, that's cool. Talk about the painting and artists. It does take time, doesn't it, to get into that space of like set up a studio, set up the paints, and then just getting into it. Do you have to like set yourself up into a zone to actually get going? Whereas I suppose the iPad and a Apple Pencil, you could just get going straight away, can't you?
Exactly. It's more immediate, but there's just a gentleness to painting, and it's just a bit slower, isn't it?
It's calmer.
And I like that. I think it's calmer, and yeah, it puts you in a nice space, I feel like. So yeah, I'd love to start that back up again.
Yeah. Do you have a studio at home, or would you go to an art space or rent somewhere or go to a workshop?
I would love to have my own art space, a studio space. But yeah, I'm basically working from home now. But I would prefer to have a studio where I can go and just, that's where I get messy and, you know, do what I need to do. But yeah, I don't have that quite yet.
Yeah, and cut off the outside world too, and just be in your own space.
Exactly.
What is your dream project? Who would you love to work with? If there was a brand or a project, or what would you, I know you said you'd love to do painting next, but is there anything that you're really in the pipeline that you'd love to do?
There are so many things that I would like to do in the finite amount of time that exists. There's so many things I would love to. I still want to write more books. There are just a whole load of kids' books I'd like to write, and also just general writing. Yeah, I still want to write lots more books, and actually, kids' books. I didn't realize this, but Dr. Seuss used to do social commentary. Obviously, I know he's got a few dodgy books in his collection now, but he used to do social commentary. But I think prior to me even knowing that he did social commentary, I've always loved Dr. Seuss books in that, like, quite a few of them are just part of your like childhood growing up experience. And I'd love to write some books that young kids would be like, oh my goodness, I loved this book when I was growing up. So I'd love to write a few books like that and have them in my collection. I would love to work on like TV series. Yeah, I'd love to do some writing. I'd love to do some writing for that. That would be fantastic. I would love to do more like exhibitions of my work in some capacity. So that's something that I would also like to do. What else? Oh, this is very random. But
yeah, go
on. I deeply believe that I have got at least a one-hit wonder in me somewhere. I feel like I could write a banger for somebody somewhere in the world. And I just feel like, I feel that so deeply that I can do it. And it'll be a song that is brilliant. Like, oh my gosh, the summer of 2020 something, that was my banger. And it'll end up being a nostalgic hit. Yeah. I feel like I can do that. Yeah. And I just need somebody to take a chance, because I feel like it's in me, and I'm just waiting for the opportunity for that to be realized. So that's another very random thing that I would like to do.
I love it.
To be honest, there's so many things that I would love to have my own space to do workshops and to have like a boutique, and have a little coffee shop. Like there's lots of things I'd like to do, but yeah, it's also about focus. It's
focus, and yeah, it is, and also time, I suppose, isn't it? And
time.
But I think some of those ideas, though, all of them actually, they'd be amazing. You could pitch those easily to people. I was also going to say, because I always ask my guests about the Catalyst connection, and you said and where you are now. What You know, you said your uncle helped, like, said to you about the Teenage Mutant Turtle picture, and he was like, "Oh, you're a great drawer," and you were like, "Yeah, I'm going to do this now." Is there a way you are? Is there a catalyst? Someone that's a catalyst now that and your illustrations where you are now? Who inspired you to actually say, "Oh my gosh, you've got something here, go for it," or did you just do it yourself?
I think it's all cumulative. Like, you know, there've been people that have been like, "Oh, you know, it's cumulative, and it's like encouragement along the way."
So day to day, do you work on your illustrations day to day, or do you work somewhere else, or do you work on other creative projects, or is it mainly your illustrations, or do you work full time or part time somewhere else?
I work I do illustrate or work on my illustrations probably every day. And yeah, I'm as full time as I can be. And then my retail side of things is also ticking along nicely.
I have
So
some of your
yeah,
retail things.
yeah.
I love buying the cards.
Oh,
Yeah. I
really?
give them out. Yeah. I think it
Ah,
was one of my friends that put me onto you, and I was like, "Who is this person? I love the illustrations, and they're just fun." And I went to the shop and bought stuff. So thank you. They're really cool.
thank you.
So was it easy getting into some of those shops? I'm just asking out of interest. Was it easy getting into some of the shops at 2015, or was it easier 2020, or they just started recognizing you by then?
No, it's definitely been a hustle trying to get my stuff into stores. And actually, with all of the different stockists that I have had, it's been a different way of getting into that space. So yeah, for anyone who is listening and is wanting to get kind of lots of different stockists, I feel like you have to try everything. So for some of my stockists, I went into the shops. Some of them I cold emailed, and surprisingly it worked. I did do a trade show once, and I think, yeah, probably one or two have approached me kind of on social. So it's kind of, and there's been, it hasn't been one way.
Mm-hmm.
I've just kind of collected them in different ways.
Have you seen any difference since 2020, since starting? Has it been, not using the word easier, have people been more open to it, should I say?
I think that probably, 2020 and 2021 were probably my most profitable retail years. And that's when I was harvesting the white guilt of a nation. And that's where that's where I probably made the most money. But ever since then, it's just been back to me, making a concerted effort to do the marketing that I need to, and to kind of the hustle again. So I can say that there was a change in 2020 to 2021, but thereafter, I feel like we've kind of reverted back to what it was. That's just my personal experience.
But I've seen it happening with various organisations too, what I've seen online, and for like even this weekend, I was talking to somebody who went to an awards recently, the Precious Awards. I don't know if you know them, by Feluke. So it celebrates Black women, and it's annual. You should enter actually in the creative department. Anyway, you should definitely look it out. But yeah, over the years, she's had sponsorship from major organisations, and it just seems at the moment, well, the last few years, people just pulling back on everything that's to do with D&I, and it's such a shame because the space needs to exist for us, but we also need support. And it was just a shame that people, like big companies, have just pulled out, and all the time they're saying, "Oh yeah, we're supporting," and then it just like they're just like not there anymore. It's so sad, really sad.
Yeah, the guilt has definitely eased since 2020. I'd love to hear what inspires you, and how you've come to be where you are.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, no, so I've been a graphic designer for over 30 years, and my background is in corporate and publishing, the B2B worlds. And I left after I had my second child and started freelance, and I've been doing that ever since. I've been freelancing for 13 years now. And a couple of years ago, I said, "Oh, I'm going to start a podcast and talk to Black brown creatives." And then I was like, "Oh," and then it just kind of just left it. And then I spoke to somebody I was at party with last year, a student, a graduate, and she was like, "Oh, I really was been looking for podcasts with some Black voices, and I couldn't find any, some creatives." She was like, "Oh, a lot of them were quite American. I couldn't find anything in the UK." And I was like, "I've been thinking about starting a podcast for Black creatives." And she was like, "Oh, you should definitely do it." And then I thought, you know what? I recorded the first episode in October last year, and then left it and then launched it in January this year. So that's where I'm at now. And just, it's been really good. And it's been good in the sense that it's great that when I open up my podcast app, I see different faces of colour and other people see different faces of colour, I suppose, and not just the same old people. And it's been great. I've been talked to a poet, I've talked to a dancer, I've spoken to illustrators, graphic designers, people that work in social media and help other businesses. So it's been a real nice mix of people that have come on so far. So it's been good. It's been interesting because especially when I put a call out and say, does anyone want to come out on my speak on my podcast? I don't do them often because you get inundated, and that's what I found. And people don't read what the podcast's about, and I just get lots of white people applying saying, I've done this and I've done that, and men too, sort of like saying, you should talk to me about this because I've written X, Y, Z. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to talk to an American soldier right now. I've had an American soldier pitch to me. And I was like, what?
That's crazy.
Serious.
But you know what? Sometimes I'm very inspired by the audacity of some people, because I'm like, you literally do not fit the bill, but you've really just inserted yourself into this thing. And I think sometimes as Black people, we could probably, and as Black women specifically, actually, we could probably have the same kind of audacity. I just, have the boldness to insert ourselves where actually we should have a voice, really.
Yeah.
Obviously, this doesn't apply to the white soldier because he shouldn't have messaged you at all. But
yeah.
I'm talking more about the audacity.
Yes.
rather than him.
Yeah. That's kind of me in a nutshell. But with the podcast wise, and it's been interesting. And I applied for a couple of awards and I got finalists for one of them in America. So that was quite good. Got to get out there really and just keep on telling people about us. And again, hopefully this will be people listening and find out more about you. And there's some big brands out there that want to work with you because I'd love that was one of the reasons why also I started the podcast, just to amplify voices and to get us out there, because sometimes I know you market yourself, but sometimes we also have to have different avenues to market ourselves. And you never know, reaching out via podcast, as I said, it goes worldwide. So you don't know who's listening. And then, I'll put all your links in the show notes and people connect with you and look at your work. So that'd be great.
Thank you. That's very kind.
So I'd like to end on a personal note with I've got two things that I like to end on. And one of them is, what would you tell your teenage self?
I don't know if I'll tell myself anything, actually. And I say that because it's so easy to, I don't know. Also, I'm kind of imagining the scene. Like, I'm me now and I'm talking to my teenage self and I'm like, oh, hi, I'm from the future. P.S. blah, 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 blah. And I actually think that it is better for me as my teenage self to just go through all of the things that I will go through, because it's led me here. And I think we are where we should be. I don't know if that makes sense.
It does make sense.
Yeah, I don't think I'll tell myself anything, actually. Not now. No. I think it's, for me, I think it would be better for me to just carry on and live.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when you're, I think maybe I'm thinking about it too deeply, but if I'm coming from the future and saying, oh, by the way, babes, blah, 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 I think knowing what I'm like, I'll be like, oh no, like, how do I maneuver in such a way that, I don't think it would be helpful for me personally. I don't think I'd say anything.
That's good. I like that answer. Just out of interest. I know you said the artist inspires you. Is there any Black women that inspire you? I
feel like it's mainly Black women that inspire me.
Yeah.
To be quite frank, I think, on a relational basis, obviously my mum is a huge inspiration. Like, I'd love, my sister, I've got a younger sister-in-law, all my babes, all of my girlfriends, like they're huge inspirations in terms of just, from a relational. And I think this is probably very cliche, but like, you know, in terms of work ethic and, you know, applying excellence to work, somebody like Beyonce is very inspirational, and somebody like Khalees also, just in terms of like being able to pivot and to really try different things in your career, from going, you know, being a singer to a chef and to being a farmer. Like,
Yeah.
I find that hugely inspirational, and just kind of, bringing all the facets of yourself. Often we think we should just be one thing, but actually we can be many things. And so, those different iterations are amazing.
Yeah. People say, like saying, "I'll stay in your lane," and then sometimes you think, "Wow, why do I want to stay in the lane? Maybe I should just move out of the lane a little bit every now and again, or just why do I have to stay in the lane?" And I was like, "Why do people say that?" So it's interesting that, like, when you said, move like you, like you're an artist, you're a writer, you do different things, and people even say to me, "Gosh, you've started a podcast, you're doing this, you're doing that," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to move out my lane now and try something different." So who knows where it's going to take you?
Exactly. And I feel like we're also complex. Like, none of us are just one thing. And so I feel like you should be able to explore like the different facets of like who you are and who you've been made to be. Like, I feel like it's okay to do that. And so I'm inspired by people who do that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
cool, lovely. So, as I said, the last thing I will ask you is, I have quick fire 5 questions, so it's either one or the other. And I normally ask the same questions over the podcast, and so I'm going to switch it up just a teeny weeny bit to the regular listeners and say, pen or pencil?
Pen.
Sunset or sunrise?
Oh, sunset. Do I have to give reasons for my answer, or is it?
It's up to you. No, it's just one or the other. But you could give it. But then some people go into it and go, "Give me a long reason." So I don't mind. It adds to the fun of it. So yeah.
I'm a night owl, so sunset makes more sense.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Jollof rice or rice and peas?
Oh, sorry, but jollof rice. I will literally go to functions. Like, you can get me to a function if you tell me that there's jollof rice there. So that's how deep it goes. So I don't have the same pour to rice and peas.
Yeah. And that's been a good one. So manicure or pedicure?
Oh, manicure.
And last one, reggae or soul?
Soul.
Soul.
That's difficult though, but soul.
Soul. Thank you. And thank you so much for being on my guest. And oh gosh, it's been such an honour to speak to you. And thank you for agreeing to be here. Can you tell people how they can find you and what's the best place to connect with you?
Thank you so much for having me on the podcast. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for all that you're doing in amplifying Black and brown voices. It's definitely a needed thing. So thank you for all of the hard work and that you are doing. Yeah, we need it. And I hope that, in 2026 and beyond, you continue to do that, because it's amazing. So thank you first and foremost.
Thank you.
You can find me on social, so Kazvare Made It everywhere, basically. TikTok, Twitter or X, Instagram. Yeah, you can find me on those platforms. I'm around.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for joining me. As I said, honestly, a real treat, real honour, and I'm sure the guests, listeners will love it, because I've loved talking to you, and you're just amazing, and we love seeing your work out there. So just just gonna keep supporting, keep following, and thank you so much for being on Creatives Like Us.
Oh, thank you so much.
Closing up this episode, I really want to tell you about Kazvare's first solo exhibition coming up in May. I'm really excited. I've got a ticket. I'm definitely going. And I'll leave the details in the show notes. See you soon. Thanks for listening to Creatives Like Us. If this conversation resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to hear it today. That's how we build our communities and amplify our voices. You can find all the show notes and the links at linescreative.co.uk podcast, and connect with me on LinkedIn and Instagram. I'd love to see you there. Also, make my day if you can leave a review or comment in your listening platform choice. And it's really easy on Spotify. Leave it in the comments. Until next time, keep creating and keep supporting creatives like us. See you next time. Bye.